One of the objections I still hear about Bitcoin is surprisingly simple. I just can't trust something I can't physically touch. Years ago, I thought that was a perfectly reasonable concern. Bitcoin was new, very few people understood it, and reliable information was difficult to find. If someone dismissed it because it only existed on a computer screen, I could understand why. But Bitcoin is no longer new. It has now existed for more than 17 years. During that time, thousands of books have been written, countless podcasts recorded, and an enormous amount of educational material has become freely available. Whether you agree with the conclusions or not, information is no longer difficult to find. So I've started wondering whether this objection is really about Bitcoin at all. Maybe it's about trust. That question led me to think about money itself. What actually makes something money? Long before coins or banknotes existed, people traded goods directly with one another. Economists call this barter. It worked, but only if each person happened to want what the other was offering. A fisherman might have plenty of fish, but needed grain, while the farmer wanted clothing instead. Trade quickly became inefficient. Money emerged as the solution. Instead of exchanging goods directly, people could exchange them for something that everyone recognized as valuable. That common medium made trade far easier and allowed economies to grow. But not just anything could become money. Throughout history, societies have tended to settle on things that shared certain characteristics. Good money needed to be scarce, durable, portable, divisible, and capable of storing value over time. As I thought about those characteristics, something struck me. Nowhere on the list was a requirement that money had to be something you could physically touch. That had honestly never occurred to me before. Even more interesting was the realization that those characteristics, important as they are, still aren't enough. Every form of money ultimately depends on trust. Gold is invaluable because it possesses some magical property. It works as money because people trust that someone else will also value it tomorrow. Paper banknotes have very little intrinsic value, yet we willingly exchange them for food, houses, and cars because we trust that everyone else accepts them too. Then I realized something else. Most of the money I use today isn't physical anyway. My salary arrives electronically, my bills are paid online, my investments exist as entries on a screen. If someone asked me to physically point to where most of my money is, I couldn't. And yet I never question whether it's real. That made me wonder whether the objection to Bitcoin isn't really about physicality at all. Perhaps it's simply that one system has spent generations earning our trust, while the other is still in the process of doing so. Trust is one of the slowest things human beings ever develop. You don't completely trust someone the first time you meet them. They earn your confidence through repeated experience. They consistently do what they say they will do. Over time, almost without noticing it, uncertainty gradually gives way to trust. Businesses work the same way. Institutions work the same way. Perhaps money does too. When Bitcoin appeared in 2009, it had no history whatsoever. No previous generations had relied upon it. No one knew whether it would still be operating 5 years later, let alone 17. Today, that picture looks very different. For more than 17 years, the Bitcoin network has continued to operate exactly as it was designed to. It has survived bull markets, bear markets, government criticism, regulation changes, and countless predictions of its demise. That doesn't prove Bitcoin will ultimately become the world's preferred form of money. No one can know that. But perhaps each year it continues operating quietly adds another layer of trust. Maybe that's why I no longer find the statement, "I can't touch Bitcoin," particularly interesting. The more interesting question is this: how long does it take for something entirely new to become trusted? I don't know the answer to that. But history suggests that trust is never built overnight. Perhaps Bitcoin isn't challenging what money is. Perhaps it's simply asking whether we're willing to let trust develop 1 year at a time. I've written more about this on Substack if you prefer reading. The link is in the pinned description.